Okay, so we are live. Thank you for joining in. I hope that I'm audible, and if someone can send me in the chat box, it will be fantastic. But I'm guessing there probably will be some delay with this. Okay, but so let's get started with the session. 100 Days to Cat, the VARC edition. Let me actually open my Hi Bible. So probably we'll have to open the chat box also. Okay. Oh, great. Okay, so we are good. We are good. We are good. So if I am, so I'll use my uh, mobile phone to check out your questions. So there is 100 days for cat, the VRC section. I don't know how uh, painful is VRC for you. You can put on the chat box what's happening with your VRC. Are things going okay? Are things are going crazy? You don't know what is happening. So that, thank you. If you, I'm doing great, Manju. Thank you, Zara. Okay. So what I actually want to do is kind of these five things, and hopefully I'll address all the issues that you have, and probably give you sort of a plan. One of the things that I'm going to do is probably what I'm going to say is not something that is new, but it might be a good idea to kind of revisit some of these things along the way. So I want to start with addressing the pain in your VRC scores. So that's something that I want to start with, and probably also look at some of the reasons why that pain happens, and how do we ease that pain? What helps? What are the things that we got to do? And then what is the best that we can do in the next 100 days? And I'll also talk about an aid which could help you in this process. Okay, so those are the five things I want to talk about. I want to actually start with the pain in your BRC. So yeah, so I can see somebody saying stuck at 20. I'm not able to score in the RC because too much negative marking. I need your guidance. So struggling with vocabulary and comprehension, the accuracy takes a major case. I thought I'll address a few pain. Pain number one that I have seen is you've taken mock number one. I don't know how many mocks you have taken. You probably would have taken mock number one. His score is about 22. He's like, okay, I will work hard in the days to come. It goes to mock number two. Suddenly it fell down to 12. Then you took mock number T, 32. You're like, yes, I am in action. Things are good. Things are good. Then you took mock number four. It has gone down to 20. You went to mock number five. It has gone down to five. Probably you're also already asking yourself, what the hell is going on? What's happening? I have no idea. But then you put in a lot of effort. Mock number six went to 16, some 14, some improvement. Mock number 17 was rocking. Mock number eight was still great. You're like, mock number nine is 37. You say that now I've arrived. Now I've arrived. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all the kind of amazing work that I'm doing with rest preparation. Then suddenly mock number 10, you see the score is 18, and mock number 11 is now 15. Then you're wondering, what is happening? God knows, God knows what the hell is going on. I don't know how many of you face, or I probably uh, you probably will have a different fluctuation in terms of score. But my feeling is that of all the three sections, VRC is a section which has this crazy fluctuation. And looking at each of these things and going, my mocks score swings without any reason. I don't know what is happening with VRC preparation. That's probably one of the issue. I'm just listing down some of the pain. Okay, so I have some more pains. I'll list a few more pains. Another pain could be, all right, this issue, right? So while I'm solving a particular RC passage, there is a sense of confidence that I have with respect to the answer. Sometimes I have very high confidence. Okay, answer choice is number two. It could be with paragraph summary, paragraph jumble, whatever the question. I have a sense of confidence. On the other hand, I have low confidence. I looked at the four answer choices. I could eliminate two, and I don't know what to do with this two. Both these two looks okay. I have no idea what's happening. So you get that confidence in the paper. You have a sense of confidence when you write this test, right? Then, actually, after the examination, you get to know how many of these are right and how many of you are how many of these are wrong. Okay, so that happens. Now, this is amazing. Okay. Your confidence is very high, and the answer you got correct. It's like, yes, I'm arrived, and this is happening great. And this is kind of expected. Your confidence in a particular question was low, you marked something, got it wrong, you feel bad, but at least you expect it. Then you have this case. Your confidence was low. You said that I got confused between these two answer choices. My mark something turned out to be correct. But you're still worried. My God, will the luck survive? And the worst case scenario is this pain that you mark something with so much confidence and then you found that your answer choice is wrong. Now, I think that this you experience in every single VRC sort of test that you have taken, whether it is short, whether it is long. You look at each of these questions. All of these may happen to you. And then the problem is you don't see any pattern in this. In some test, okay, things go your way. Some test things doesn't go your way. Some test your confidence is high. Some test confidence is low. When the confidence is high, sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it wrong. And I have all right. So Uh, this is sort of an issue. Okay. Another problem that I face is, I don't know whether you face this particular problem, is that paragraph summary, when you start solving in the mock, every single option seems to be right. Okay, you can't figure out. So if you read the four answer choices, you're going, okay, but everything looks okay. Then you see, for example, look at paragraph jumble or sentence question. You tried so many different things and nothing seems to work. Or maybe even sentence placement question, you look at the sentence, you look at four blanks. Oh, this can go anywhere. And I'm guessing that you have all these issues. And my sense is that I don't know how many of you feel this. Put a yes on the chat box if you feel this is where you are, that I give everything, hours of reading, drills, mocks, and still walk away not just wrong. I'm confused. I feel defeated. I'm wondering what all this effort is even worth. Is it where we are? Right. So if it's like this is this doesn't happen in QA. This feeling doesn't happen in QA. QA, at least, okay, you have a different sense of frustration, DLR, different sense of frustration. The frustration, at least you know that if you start putting in effort in QA, you see some improvement score and that improvement remains in many of the cases. But when it comes to VRC, whatever you seem to put in, whatever effort that you're trying to put in, seem like it's not going anywhere. Okay. So before sort of we understand the cure to all this problem that we are facing, it probably would be a good idea to understand some of these problems, why this happens with VRC. Why is VRC sort of so different? So I want to address sort of five broad problems, and hopefully we can understand these problems. Maybe we can figure out a workaround in the next 100 days to at least address some of these, if not all. So the problems is what we're going to look at, to where the pain comes from. Where's the pain? Okay. I think the main problem when you look at the arts section, no, and it is this, and this is something that is sort of uh, uh, sort of have a uh, s- issue, which is like, that's your test center, right? Imagine, let's say that's your test center. It could be currently your test center is your home. Eventually, the test center is going to be the cat, right? And if I consider the QA, for me to solve a question in the test, I have to bring in the knowledge into the test center. If I don't know the area of equilateral triangle, if there is a question on equilateral triangle and question on area, I will not be able to solve it. So a lot of stuff you're looking at, the method of solving each type of questions. Okay, I need to understand remainder theorem to answer the question of remainders, or even for example DLR. It's not so much, but still you need to sort of at least understand the knowledge on how to deal with percentages, knowledge on set theory, lot many knowledge you have to carry into the examination hall, and then use that knowledge and apply to the question, engage with the question and say an answer. But when it comes to something like, when it comes to VRC or VA, yeah, when I say VA, VRC, what knowledge am I carrying? to answer all these questions. All the knowledge that I need is extracted from the test itself. Whatever happens in those 40 minutes, that's when I'm building this knowledge on the spot. I'm reading the RC passage, picking up sort of knowledge. I'm using the word knowledge from the RC passage to answer the question. I'm reading the paragraph jumble question, looking at the four sentences, figuring out stuff. And sort of, yes, to some extent, your vocabulary and other things helps. But by and large, when you look at VS specifically, everything happens in those 40 minutes. Now, because everything happens in 40 minutes, you see that your score depends on how steadily you gain knowledge during the test. One of the reasons as to why this fluctuation happens in VRC is this. I'll sort of there are times, for example, when you start, let's say, solving an RC passage in some of the test. You're reading, for example, paragraph number one, then you go to paragraph number two. Suddenly, you're sitting and how did I get here? How did I reach paragraph number two? I don't. You suddenly you're reading the passage in your mind. Songs are playing. For example, you're almost when you're reading it, you're almost feeling sleepy. What? There's a passage on I don't know some ethics and stuff, and you're reading the particular passage. By the time you read in the middle of the particular paragraph, you're like, I'm absolutely bored. What the hell is going on? So, so if you are not I don't know. I don't know how to put this. If in that test room, if you're not steady, if you're not focused, a lot of things can happen, right? So, sort of that is sort of one problem that you have with this thing of VRC. There is problem number two. Let's talk about this problem number two. Problem number two is this that sometimes I doodle. When I say doodle, I actually write things down, short summary. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I read slow. Sometimes I rush. Sometimes I eliminate answer choice forcefully. Sometimes I go with the gut. I keep changing my process. So my results keep changing. It's not even this. Okay, for example, let's say that you tried something in odd sentence. Okay, you tried sort of one process in odd sentence. You're trying to figure out. You applied that in one test. It didn't work out. Suddenly you decide, okay, let me try something else. Then we try something else. In lot many cases, when you take this particular test, we don't have one process for answering question. I'm not saying that happens every single time, but that's a case, right? So that's very crucial when it comes to RC. A consistent process, the only path to consistent outcome. If let's say if I'm solving an RC passage, I'm reading the passage exactly same way every single time. I mean, I know exactly what I'm going to do after I read paragraph number one. I know exactly what I'm going to do after I read paragraph number two. When I read a particular question, okay, do I, for example, think what likely the answer is, or do I jump to the answer choice? Whatever that process that you created, I'm if you don't stick to the same thing, and every single time you take the test, and even obviously on the day of the cat, then you start seeing a lot of fluctuation in terms of your score. That's the second problem that you face when it comes to VRC. Then there is a problem number three. Problem number three is if you take QA or DLR, if I don't know, I just can't solve. I can't solve. If I don't know the question, I just skip the question. And I'm solving the question that I'm fairly confident about. So my accuracy is okay, unless until if I'm taking too much of guess and made a lot of silly mistake and stuff, but accuracy is more or less predictable, right? For example, I solve a particular question on QA math, right? I solve a question. I got the answer as 24. At least I caught the answer. I look at the answer choice, 24 is there. You're like, yes! And the happiest that happens is more than QA is DLR. In DLR, you solve the set. You're hoping you cracked everything, and you said, okay, I found answer to this particular question. Answer the question. The question is 4.2, and then you go to the answer choices. 4.2 is there. That's like That feeling is an amazing feeling that happens in DLR, which I'm guessing that happens to you. I don't know. It happens to me, so I don't know whether it happens to you. So on the flip side, you solve a particular question, you got the answer to be 42. You look at the answer choices, 42 is not there in the answer choice. You're going, oh, okay. I probably will have to redo the question, or maybe I'll skip the question. All that happens in QA and DLR. But in VRC, I can always mark something. I am absolutely not confident about anything. I'm basically making bets. Okay, there is sort of not a single question where I'm going. Like I don't get the feeling of solving a QA getting the answer. I'm just feeling okay. You get a sense of it's probably on a scale of 1 to 100. You say that that's what okay. I'm probably about 80-90% sure, maybe about 95% sure when you solve this. And the second issue is I can mark even if I'm not confused. There are four answer choices. One of the answer choices is telling me, oh, please pick me now, please pick. You get too confused with the two answer choices, and you still can mark. So that's one. Second is the way in which accuracies function. If I take one RC, the accuracy between 50% and 75% is one question. Sometimes you get 2 out of 4 correct. Sometimes you get 3 out of 4 correct. That's like a jump from a 50% accuracy to 75% accuracy. And of course, collectively the 4 RC and all the 24 question, anything happens. So it's crazy, like get 2 right, I'm average, 50% accuracy. Get 3 right, I feel like a star. One question. And in the worst case scenario, I get 1 question correct, 3 questions wrong, 0 marks. 2 questions correct, 2 questions wrong. How much is that? 4 marks. 3 questions correct, 1 question wrong, 8 marks. All the 4 questions correct, 12 marks. That is if I mark everything. And sort of the third thing is in QA the option doesn't trick me. In DLR the option doesn't trick me. The problem tricks me. Here the problem tricks, the options itself is a trap. So this is absolutely expected that your accuracy will fluctuate. There is no doubt in this, and it's bound to happen. Score fluctuation is natural with all these issues, and minimizing that fluctuation is crucial. Whatever the solution that we're going to have, we have to minimize sort of that fluctuation, right? So this is sort of his problem number 3. Then you have problem number 4. This problem is I make decisions before I even enter the examination hall. Sitting here, I've decided I'm going to do 2 RCs, or I'm not going to do a philosophy passage. You might be basing that decision based on the previous experience that, for example, you require about 10 minutes to solve a particular passage or 12 minutes to solve a particular passage, or maybe the past philosophy passage has been troubling you, but you kind of carry that before even you've seen any question. Maybe you'll say that odd sentence never works for me, I will skip it. I don't even know what is going to happen on 30th of November. I don't know what passage I'm going to be confronted with. I don't know if there is going to be a philosophy passage. I don't even know whether philosophy passage is going to be easy to read. I don't even know whether the philosophy passage has got question that is manageable, option that is manageable. I don't know. Today, I'm saying that I don't know whether I'll be able to navigate all the 24 questions. I don't know anything. Right? How am I making decisions? They fix decisions on things not to do. Um, so this is this is I mean you know this is something that I personally have not understood. But I don't know, you can help me understand. So the cat is like telling you, hi, I don't know. I'm going to pick, take some name of somebody sitting here. Okay. So sorry, I'm picking somebody's name. Yash Jain is there. So let's say Yash. Okay. Okay. Sorry, Yash. Okay. Okay. I'm just, you are correct. Okay. I'm just going to say, it's like the I am is telling Yash, Yash, you're such an amazing guy. I want you to be part of I am Ahmedabad. Take this example, cat. I'm going to give you 24 questions. Please solve this before even seeing the paper. Yash is like, I don't need 4 questions. You keep your 4 questions, get lost. You give me 20 questions only. Four, I will not even see. And I do understand. A lot of you are telling me, sir, I cannot, I've tried doing 4 RCs. I cannot do 4 RCs. That is fine. I mean, that is perfectly fine. I'm not asking you to do all the 24 questions, but why am I deciding now? The issue about deciding is you decided on day one and accept the reality that I can only do this much. And every single mock, you accept the reality, no? I'm not saying that it's bad not to do all the 20. That's not what I'm saying. You can eventually, for example, you can simply take a decision that I will do as many things as possible on the day of the test. If it turns out to be 20, it turns out to be 20. If it is 18, it turns out to be 18. For example, I got really confused with many of these questions. I skipped it. I, for example, planned to do all the 24 questions. I just didn't get time to do the last one. That happened because of the test. But that decision did not happen prior to the test. That happened on the day of the test, which I can understand. But why am I sitting before even starting the paper, having the attitude that I'm not going to do all the questions? I don't know. Why am I deciding before even the paper starts that passages on science na always problem. I mean, I don't know this passage about some snail. I don't know some once it is an elephant, then we have got snail, sometimes kangaroo. This all these animals comes in the paper and completely troubles me. Why are we deciding now? So I want to talk about this is one of the mock paper, and the graph that you see here has percentage accuracy and percentage attempt. Okay. So for example, that bar that you see, no, that bar, these okay, okay, I can write now. This points is a percentage of student to attempt that particular question, out of which this is a percentage of students who got the question correct. That's accuracy of those who attempted. Now imagine, for example, these sort of 24 questions, right? You can actually see the attempt of passage number one was so high because that passage number one was very easy to read. The attempt of this particular passage was the lowest, the third one. Turned out the third has got more better questions at far in accuracy than this first one, and you will never get to know this, right? So when you are when you are chucking before even the exam starts, when you're chucking a particular passage, right, there is an element of luck involved, right? If, for example, the passage that you left turned out to be the passage which had actually had a lot of difficult question, you're saved. The passage that you left turned out to be had a lot of easy question, and the passage that you picked turned out the passage difficult question, the problem happens, right? So you actually see a lot of fluctuation in score because of this as well. You are choosing to attempt this. Then there are, of course, other issues. For example, somebody wants to attempt everything. Then the only thing that the worry is that I just want to attempt, so I just keep reading it fast. So that also is a different problem. But I'm not at this. But what I'm essentially saying is that this is a problem. Whether you want to address it is a different issue. But this is a problem. If today you are saying that I'm going to do, let's say, I can do 3 passages, which is what probably majority of you are. I can do 3 passages and 8 VA questions, which is fine. There is still that element of luck involved. That whichever is the chunk of 4 questions that you left before even reading it, you are just hoping that the 4 chunk of questions were in fact difficult ones. The problem when it comes to reading comprehension, or even, for example, the VA question is the level of difficulty is not necessarily with respect to the passage, nor even with respect to the question. The level of difficulty is always with how the options are framed. Always. Intentionally, unintentionally. Always. Right. So you can judge the difficulty only at the option level. So you have to stay flexible. Whether you're going to address this problem or not, that is not something that I'm going to tell you what you should do or should not do. But when you're approaching the paper like this, know very well that there is a little bit of luck involved, right? Little bit of luck involved, and you're just hoping that things comes in a favor, right? And sort of the last problem, which is this, okay? Of all the problems that you have faced so far, there are actually two issues. The solution always is, I want to do more, right? I want to keep on doing more and more things and hope that things will change. I've always heard sort of this. I have already solved 200 passages. My score hasn't improved. And now, what is my plan? Solve 200 more. And my question is, the last 200 passage, your score did not improve. What are, what different are going to do in the next 200? I think a- answering that question is probably more crucial, right? Rather than sort of hoarding uh, content after content or material after material, hoping that things will work out just by solving more and more, right? So, yeah, your improvement is going to come from analysis, not just more solving. So, when I sort of summarize, so the fluctuation that you see in your scores and the reason why you're not able to attach any. So one of the challenges that you normally face when it comes to VRC is that you're not able to attach a cause for any of this. You don't know why things are happening because there are too many variables, right? How the environment is a variable, how we think is a variable. For example, examination hall, the person sitting next to you is what speaking, or maybe there's some noise outside, or people are shouting. That could be a variable. The way in which your frame of mind, that's a variable. How the question setter decided to push those easy questions and medium questions spread, that's a variable. Okay, whichever passage that is skipped, if the passage that is skipped is turned out to be a passage or which has got a lot of this difficult the easy questions, now that's a variable. There are too many things when it comes to VRC as sort of variable, and then you try to do different processes, that's a variable. So it's kind of absolutely very difficult for you to pinpoint a problem. One of the things that in my course of the course that I do, VRC 1000, one of the questions that I keep getting, the student keep asking me, and if you're one, I'm in the process of responding to all this query. There's a huge load of backlog of questions that I have to respond, which I'm doing. Most of the questions I'm asking is, "Sir, this happening? Why?" And the challenge that I have, I don't know. Very honestly, I can guess and probably sort of give a suggestion. So, sort of finding out the cause in this stuff is a problem because it's a variable. So we got to do something in those 100 days, and do something which can hopefully get us to a point where we can achieve whatever set of objective that you've set. I don't know. Each of you may have a different goal. Some of you really want a very high score. Some of you say that I just want a clear cutoff. For some of you, okay, last year I took the test. I was able to manage other two sections. I just want to sort of handle this. For some of you, you're dependent on VRC to push your score up. Some of you have got target of very high percentile overall. You want to hit the 99.8, 99.78 because you want to get to IIM Calcutta, and that's the only way to get there. Um, some of you say that okay, this is the school that I'm going to target, so this is the score that I need. So you have individually your own target, your own objective, and that is of course something that is very personal to you, whatever that is, right? So we obviously will have to do something in those 100 days, and hopefully with the hope that things are going to change. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee in anything, but at least I hope that things are going to change, and sort of create a direction in which I can sort of look at this next 100 days. which is a considerable amount of time, right? 100 days is a lot. Uh, you can develop, for example, if you want to start learning guitar in about 40 days, I mean, with about 40 hours of prep, you may not be expert, but you can still manage, right? Those of you started driving as a skill, you can still manage something. So 100 days is a lot of time, right? And one other thing that I really want to tell you is that you carry a lot of regrets, right? You carry regrets of or a baggage that go forward when you move forward, and every sort of single time when you start moving forward, you're like, okay, I'm putting a lot of this effort. I can't look at any changes. Things are not happening. So I think it's probably a time to just reset ourselves and say that, okay, what if I'm preparing for the CAT from now on? Like, I've got 100 days. Let me have something which is very consistent, which will at least address sort of most of these issues that I'm having. Okay, so that's sort of a plan. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to make a few assumptions about a cat as a paper. It's very important to make those assumptions. I'm basing this assumption based on what I've seen in the past, right? And these assumptions probably will help us in terms of plan it better. The assumption number one that I have is a question set is sensible. I keep calling the question set evil, question set evil, question set, but the question I'm assuming the question set is sensible in the sense that who is designing CAT as an exam is not designing the CAT as an exam to pain you. He's not designing CAT as an exam showcase. We have got great skill of painting. They're not designing CAT as an exam to create some of the most difficult tests. It's a very clear purpose. About 3 lakh people take the test. They want to sort of weave out a certain set of students out. They want to sort of eliminate whatever, select whichever way you look at it. They want the test to do something. For example, there are sort of 24, let's say 68 question items, right? Question number 1 to question number 68. If there is one question which is very difficult that 0% of the students nobody could solve, that is a useless question, right? That question didn't do anything to differentiate between students. And if there is a question that everybody solves, that's a useless question. So the test the test that has to be created has to be created in a manner which is sort of, I would say it's something that helps in terms of differentiating between people. So I'm assuming this is I'm probably talking with respect to reading comprehension. You can you can accept you can take it forward to the V as well. That the question setter may spend an hour on a passage or 2 hours on a passage, where the question setter creates a passage, reads it twice, but they know that we have only 40 minutes for the whole section. We are reading the passage in 5 minutes, and therefore I am assuming that the questions won't test deep, specialized level understanding. None of the questions of CAT is going to test you in-depth understanding. I'm talking about CAT. I'm not talking about mocks. Well, some of the mocks that you're taking, I don't know whether the questions, but I'm saying in the CAT, right? You look at all the CAT papers. You can go past, maybe take from CAT 2017 at CAT 2024. Even though people crib during the day of the test, the paper is painful, or some of you may look at the painful. If you actually analyze each of these paper, none of these questions is as almost all the questions were based on broad ideas of the particular passage, and that sort of is number one. Number two is the question that knows that you're not an expert. The CAT does not expect you to have prior knowledge in any topic. Does not. That's how the question is framed. So of course, if you have a prior knowledge, then you can comprehend the passage better, but that's not expectation. Even if, let's say, the passage is something that you see, or the question or a paragraph or whatever, something that you see is absolutely out of your reach in terms of something that you've never read before. The question setter is design the question thinking that you are a lay person. You will understand this. That's how question sets. Question will not hinge on domain expertise, only what's written in the passage or paragraph and sort of broad idea. So that's what assumption number two. And assumption number three is, I think the question, the setter designs with fairness. There is one right answer, which always supports the text. And wrong options are traps, but they're not reasonable traps. They're not tricks. So one of the things that I want to start by saying that this exam is at the end of this is not rocket science at all. The VRC is a paper, it basically is an open book exam. Whatever that you want to answer is there in the passage. And you really don't need to have the absolute knowledge on subjects or too in-depth understanding of passages. Deep analysis required. It's a simple thing, right? If let's say a reading comprehensive passage, all I need to do is, if I'm reading each paragraph, am I able to understand the key idea of the particular paragraph? If I can understand the broad structure, I'm able to understand the structure of the particular paragraph. And then can I understand the author? And then go to the question. Basically, the basic stuff in terms of identifying the traps, what's created wrong option wrong. Now, when I'm saying this, I some of the mocks that you've taking may not have these assumptions, right? So lot of these, some of the mocks. I'm not saying all the mocks, some of the mocks, right? So the designs, the perspective from the mocks, of course, everybody is trying to create a mock which is very sort of close to cat at least, but not all the tests starts with this sort of idea. But eventually, you know that on 30th November, you are going to see a paper which is designed by someone who's sensible, who's fair, and he knows that you're not an expert. All that you require is your broad lay understanding of the particular passage, or the questions. And if you're cool, if you sort of stick to a simple process, you should be able to sort of do this, right? So that sort of is the fundamental thing I want to talk about. Okay. The other thing is, I'm sure that a lot of you are already doing this, but this is what I want you guys to focus on. You have to build a process. When I say what a process means, right? If let's say if I am solving a, I don't know, sentence placement question, some of you may call it paragraph completion question, you should have a process. That means you know exactly what you're going to do first. Okay, I'm going to read the sentence first. Okay, why am I reading the sentence first? What are the things I'm going to find in that particular sentence? Okay, am I looking for language clues? Am I looking for logic clues? Okay, when I go to this particular paragraph, I know exactly how I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to read probably the first blank, the next two sentences. I'm going to check these things. There are those 3 4 checklists that I'm going to use, right? So there is sort of one process that you design, and it might be a process that you decided on your own, you figured it out. It might be a process that I have given to people. It might be a process that some other teacher given. There could be multiple processes. I'm not saying which is the best process, but whatever is that one process, stick to it. Okay, when it comes to doing reading comprehension, right? There could be, I so my approach to reading comprehension, you will find, is different from a lot of other faculties approach to reading comprehension. And I'm no way saying that my approach is better than somebody else, right? There could be a faculty who would say that, okay, passage is always the the, the passage is there, right? Just read this passage, get sort of just quickly go through all the passage once, get the broad understanding, go to the question, keep going back to the passage, keep going back to the passage every single time. I may say something very different. Read the passage one, read the passage really well, understand the doodle, go to the question. Only if you're forced to go back to the passage, do this. So there is a sort of process that I have. Whatever is the process that you follow, you got to stick to one. Now, that's very, very important, right? The second very important thing, whatever you figured out, and you got to fine tune, and you're not going to change it completely. This son, I'm just going to hold on to it through reflection, through analysis, whatever the process for solving any single question. Just hold on to this. That's step number two. Through analysis, don't question your process. So, so what am I doing is wrong? No, 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 no. Just a small issues, just a little bit of fine tuning. Okay, manageable. I made a mistake in this particular paper. No issues. Okay, this is one of paper. No problem. I'm going to stick to this particular process. The way in which I'm going to solve, whether it's one test, one RC test, or let's say the 3 VA questions, or maybe you're looking at, let's say, as a daily dose, or let's say it's a section test, or it's a mock test, or you're randomly reading articles on a daily basis for better understanding. Whatever you do, there is an absolute repetition of the one process that you figured out, and there is absolutely no change whatsoever in it for the next 100 days till the cat. After that, you can change. There is that also. So after that, then you can change. then you can do whatever you want. But this is something that you have to commit yourself. And it's absolutely important is to trust your process. See, the only thing that you can carry, there are things that you can carry, right, into the examination hall. There's a test center, right? What can I carry? I can't carry knowledge, but what can I carry? I can carry my process. And the second thing I can carry, that I must carry, is my confidence. I'll say that I'll be. I know there are times when I'm messed up and stuff, but I know my stuff. I've got the ability. I've done enough. Okay. For example, I know how to decipher tough passages. This is what I'm going to do. I've got a process to do this. If the passage is very tough, okay, I know that I'm going to do this. Is whatever is your plan. I'm not giving you this must be the plan. It could even be okay if I find a sort of a very tough passage read. I just get a broad idea, pick up maybe one or two questions and move on. Maybe that's your process. If when you get stuck in a particular option, what do you exactly do to ensure that it makes sense? So this is something that you just do it every single day the same way, and trust the process. So you got to understand it is. I'm again saying the VRC is there's nothing in this paper. There's nothing, right? So it's just about comprehension. And I think that you've got. I'm sure that you have your own struggles and stuff. You've got issue maybe with vocabulary and maybe that maybe this or whatever it is. But I think that this is something that you have to be a well-oiled machine. Stick to the process, not the outcome. You're basically on the process. Your score goes down, no problem. I'm stick to my process. Score will up because of a lot of these factors. Na, I'll do my analysis and stuff because that sort of is a broad thing that I want to do. And this is sort of the last year's scale score. So if and the net question that is required, each question gets 3 marks. Let's assume that this is where you want to be, right? 99 percentile, which requires let's say 40 plus, and 90th percentile requires about 30, 35 plus. Let's put a broad plan. Okay, I'm not suggesting you should stick to this. Let's say broad target I want to achieve. One of the things that a lot of people actually, how do I put this? Forget all these 8 VA questions. I don't know. One of the problems with VA question is you had sometimes paragraph the odd sentence is missing, now odd sentence is back, now paragraph. I don't know what is going to happen in 2025 cat, but I'm sure that at least you eventually all these questions are based on a particular paragraph. That all these questions are based on a paragraph, right? um, that VA is worth 24 marks, 8 questions. 24 marks is pretty close to 90th percentile. And the way in which we have treated VA is a third class citizen. I don't know. When was the last time you had a problem, let's say, with odds in this question? When was the last time you decided that what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the cat odds in this question from 2017. Look at each question, build on a process, and just relook at the question. Look at all the mocks that I've solved. I'm going to look at odds in this. I'm going to give myself one goddamn week's time to understand what I would do with the odds in this. Let me learn. Let me be someone. And I want to do this because there is 6 marks. 6 marks is good. If I get 3, great. If I get 6, great. 3 is still fine. 3 is still good. If I can get 15 plus marks in VA, 5 question out of 8. If I have to get 40 plus in RC, that's net 8 questions. Lot of time when you actually, and then you can also go back and say that if I require 30 plus marks, which will probably push me in 95th percentile, that RC is 18 plus question. You can analyze most of your papers and break it down in RC and VA, and you look at where you have got your highest scores. My feeling may not be all the time, but most of the time you got the high score when your VA rocked. We are, we are a lot of time we worried about RC. We should be. I mean, we are not. But I think giving that giving that uh, plan for sort of VAs, and then saying that I'm obviously assuming that the structure will be more or less the same. That's obviously another assumption, but at least from a preparation point of view, I can sort of get that idea that okay, this is what sort of I want, and and then it's absolutely achievable. It may not be happening today in my mocks, but on 30th November it can happen. It will happen. So keeps some of this broad plan of action in this case. Okay, and so with that, 100 days, right? What what I would suggest is keep it simple, keep it predictable, keep it consistent, keep it simple. There is no need to overdo stuff, right? And this is something that I would recommend what you should do every week, right? The starting point is get hold of good quality content. Okay, so this is without doubt very important in VRC. Maths inevitably going to get good quality content because the focus is always on the question, never in options. VRC, you can easily get amazing passages because passages there everywhere. Nobody's creating passages. No, I mean nobody's creating passage. Everybody is flicking passages from Eon essay, so Economist or whichever place. People are flicking stuff. But creating the options, the creating questions where there is one correct answer and three wrong answers, creating paragraph jumble questions where there is only one order that is possible, like for example in the cat, creating those questions, you have to get hold of sort of good quality content. If you already have it, fantastic. And I'm guessing most of the people, most of the content that you have, so it would be good randomly picking up content from some group on Telegram and assuming that content is, so okay, there is this one which has got 100 more passages. I'm going to get, no, what are the sort of good quality content that you pick up? If you are, most of the mocks are good quality in general, right? So that's in general, my assumption is okay. One thing I want to do is read 4 or 5 articles every day. I mean, just read it and then doodle. When I say doodle, this is every week. Now, 4 5 doodle is write a short summary of let's say for 6 words, 7 words of every single paragraph. Read as diverse as possible. Okay, they read. I think that they don't stop it. And these days you have got so many AI tools where you can just put in the RC of the passage and you doodle and check, okay, have I got an understanding? You've got so a lot of tools available with you. You probably won't need the help of anybody. You can do it on your own. Just read and sort of doodle. Okay, so that is the first thing that you want to do. Second thing is pick some short drills, can be daily dose. What happens when you still want to do, let's say about 4 RCs, about 12 VAs in a week. In a week. So this like, okay, I want to do individual RCs, maybe 5, 6. I'm just putting a short drills, right? The advantage of short drills is you're forced to do the RC, right? You're forced to do it. When it comes to 4 passages, sometimes you skip one, right? When it comes to mock, a lot of pastime you skip a particular passage. I don't know what you do with the passage that you skip. I don't know when you go back, you actually do the passages as a test. Normally you don't, but this will kind of force you to do passages. What happens? These short one passages means that you're forced to do those philosophy passages. You're forced to do this passage. So this sort of this one. So Career Launcher has a daily dose, so that's a good one to have. So this one passage, little bit of one question is always sort of very useful because you're kind of forcing us to do sort of individual passages. So this you do about 4. Okay. Then you pick up past cat paper. I think that you can start from whichever slot. Some of you doing it because this is, you know, the the past cat paper, right? Eventually, you are trying to break the logic of the question setter. The best way to learn. A lot of people look at past cat paper as practice towards the end, right? That's how most of the people look at past cat paper. The way in which you should look at past cat paper is use the previous year's paper to understand the question traps. Really. So when you say solving past cat paper, no, it's not solving. Don't let's say I've solved one paper and it's over. No, 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 no. We want to get to the mind of the question setter. What did he think when he's putting this answer choice? What are the various traps here? Okay, if I look at this particular passage, what is the kind of knowledge from the passage that was required to answer these four questions? Okay, how do I read this? Okay, there is this. There you can do so many things with respect to a past care paper. I think that you should probably do each of the passages at least thrice, according to me. According to me. That's my take. To pick up, it's not about solving. But you really understand this guy. You really want to do it. You really want to understand the paper. Okay, so you to dedicate yourself sort of past care paper. Pick a one section test. It's good to take a section. I'm sure that you got access to one section test. And any which case you're doing mark. If I kind of add all of these for the next 100 days, you are probably going to do 200 RCs and 500 VA questions in 100 days. I mean, if you can't improve the score with that, then what is the point? But there is sort of a couple of more things that you got to do, right? This is enough. I think. What more do you need? And one of the some of you probably is sitting at home and preparing for the test. Uh, and even if you're sitting at home and preparing for the test, the problem is when you sit at home and prepare for the test, now you have all the time. When you have a lot of time, you also have a lot of time to think. Then suddenly you go to a lot of these groups, and then you go there and talk the problem. And you when you're busy, na, it's very good. Then you start looking at the most effective ways to think. This, read doodle, short drills, pass cat, section test, and mock. And if you believe that you want to look at some process for each one of those, and if you want to get access, I'm guessing that you have got access to something now. Somebody is teaching you, but you're doing someone. You've got some mentor, right? Some of you may have me as a mentor. Some of you may have somebody else as a mentor. Okay, if you have hung around with your mentor so far, trust your mentor. What are the process? Stick to the process, and then do something, and then that's enough. So you can sort of stick to that, or you figured out your own way, whatever it is. So if you believe that the your your process is not in place, it's still okay. For example, when you're doing this, right, obviously you would have had broad idea in terms, so you probably would have attended sessions or at least access some videos on how to read a particular passage. You got broad things. No, okay, this is broad process. Okay, that's your starting point. Apply to the first short drill that you use. No, so yeah, apply it. You may fail, but don't change the process. Okay, now I will. Okay, so then you once the test is done, you figure out. Okay, this is how I have to read. Okay, this is what I missed. So keep keep doing the same thing again and again with good quality content. That's what you got to do, right? And reflection, analysis errors, update your problem list. You're fine tuning the process. This is what I think you should do every week. Keep it simple, na? And do the same thing every week. Be very predictable. Don't have to think. Don't go here there. Just do this. This is what I'm going to do. I basically converted this into tasks. This is not about outcomes. This is about tasks. It's like brushing teeth every day. I don't know how many if you take bath every day. It's like taking bath every day, brushing teeth every day, eating breakfast every day. This is what my breakfast, lunch, dinner is. Come what may, I'm going to achieve this. This is every week. You can travel like this. Just keep doing this again and again and again and again and again, and trust your process. There are a couple of more things that I want you to do, sort of every single time. Other thing is, so while taking whichever test, no, just two, three things always, right? I'm saying the process, but there are three things very important. Whatever happens, solve exactly the same way. That process. And outcome, don't worry about outcome. Solve the same way. It may not work. It may work after five more tests. It may work after 1 month. It may work on the day of the cat. What else can you do? If you doing 10 million things, nothing's gonna work anyways. Your best bet. I'm not saying this will work, but this is the best bet that you have to things to work. Exactly the same way. Every sort of single test. Read at your pace of comprehension. There is no need to read fast. Speed is not at all needed in this particular. It is comprehension. You can read. I think that you read at your pace. If you read at your pace, you'll comprehend better. If you don't read at your pace, I've seen this lot of time with paragraph uh, summary. Those of you who have seen uh, my solution, maybe it's a part of the VRC 1000 course videos, or maybe the CDC promo. I have told people in paragraph summary question, you doodle every sentence. When I say doodle, write about 3 4 words on every sentence. Once you doodle every sentence, you'll get the answer. The issue is that we read the paragraph summary paragraph very fast, then you go to the question, then you come back. If you actually do things fast, faster than the pace of comprehension, you will end up spending a lot of time. So this is something. Read at the pace of comprehension. You tell you I'm going to read at the pace of comprehension. Don't worry about a timer. If a timer runs out, the timer runs out. What can I do? Right. All I have to do is get net 10 questions correct. Nah. But theoretically speaking, you get 95 percentile, 10 question only. No. To get 95 percentile in this paper. No, that's it. No. You have got 40 minutes. No. Right. Your best chance of getting high accuracy is reading at a pace of comprehension. Always. Every single test that you take. The next was make the best judgment. Make it. Okay, so make the best judgment that you have at this point in time. Don't double guess yourself. Don't question yourself. Just make the best judgment that you can make. You read the passage. You gone to the question. You looked at the 4 answer choice. You had a process in terms of what you're going to do in each of these answer choice. You had a process. You fit it in your process solving it. This is sort of where you are now, and then you make the best judgment at that point in time and sort of move on. Okay, sort of don't just keep moving on. And then if things trouble you, if there is one sort of question trouble, just skip it. There is no need sort of to spend unnecessary time on a particular question just because you read the passage. There's no need. Just skip and move on. So keep your testing approach very simple. Keep your preparation very simple. Don't complicate anything. Right? You have got just one job to do. The only thing that matters in that particular paper. Please do understand. CAT is integral QDQ that can say. So it's like a question is on the screen. That's all it matters. There is something on the screen. Whether time runs or this flies or this happens, there is something that is on my screen. I can see something on my screen. That's my focus, right? I have to look at I don't know what is going to come next. If next, I don't know what happened before, but there is here and now, I see something on my screen. That's all I have to focus on. I'm going to engage with a particular text, and then I'm going to take a call. If it confuses me really bad, all right, fine, move on. Next on the screen. Okay. So there's a small moments. That's what CAT is, right? So just focus on that. And this is probably the best advice that I can give you. You be your own teacher. This is what you do. Right? A lot of people ask you what is analysis. I'm going to tell you what analysis means to me. Right? Be your own teacher. This is the story. When taking the test, you are a student. I mean, you attend the paper honestly, and once the test is done, you redo all the question with no time limit as a student. Okay, so you had one attempt, which is without looking at the solution, right? You just want to check. So one was under absolute pressure, a lot of things at stake. The score might mean something. My score may drop. Okay, and then just redo all the question without time limit. You just do the whole thing once again. This is what you're doing as a sort of as a student. After that, you become the teacher, right? And this is the most crucial job. And I'm going to tell you the things that you have to do. Number one, you check the answer as a teacher. Now you have two personality. You're no longer a student. Now you're a teacher. Whom are you teaching? Yourself. But for you to teach yourself, you have to become a teacher. That's how you teach yourself, right? Okay, so that's like the whole thing. I think you are sort of this gap. The first thing is this, and this is crucial. Okay, well, this is a very crucial part of learning. You accept the official answer. You are assuming the content that you have is rock solid, and so the official answer that is given in the content is the answer. Lot of time, what happens? No, you don't accept it. Many cases, not always. For example, you marked a particular answer choice 2, you said that the answer is 3. Now you're not convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm not going to let go. No, 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 no. You accept it. You accept the official answer and you defend the official answer on your own. You speak aloud. You can talk. Who's stopping you? Don't look at the official explanation yet. Force yourself to reason it out first. If the student you got it wrong, don't side with the student. As a teacher, you always side with the question setter. This part in many cases is missing, right? In a lot of, I'll tell you a lot of time what happens, right? If you get something wrong, the first thing that I want to do is go check the explanatory answers. Oh, what did I get wrong? If you got something wrong, other thing what you do is ask somebody. Why not answer choice B? That's the first thing. You are letting somebody else pick up all. Where is the learning happening? Where is the learning? Who is learning? I can tell you this, right? In many cases, I have created a lot of questions. Okay, I've been a question setter, uh, at least for the VARC1000 course, a significant amount of content I create. But there are a lot of times when I have to take the video solutions of content created by someone else. So in that case, I first take it like a test. I make mistakes, but because I have to teach, create explanatory answers, I cannot defend my answer. I have to defend the official answer. So then I check on something and reason myself as to, oh, this happens. I accept. I become a teacher to myself. This process, this so this process that you do know is everything. Then you are a student. Then you read the solution. Watch the video explanation if available. Return to the paper. Do a quick run through. And finally, hope for the best. This is all that we can do. What else can we do? And at some level, this paper is still about a bet that we are taking. It's still a bet. You're sort of hoping that this sort of should work. And in all of this, the person that you trust the most is yourself. Just trust yourself. That I think that question yourself. You may have, so for example, if your score is very bad, it's okay. Man. It's not okay, but it's okay. Uh, and this sort of my advice. I'll keep moving on. So trusting the process, what you got to do is sort of the 100-day plan, right? And the thing that I want to say from my side is, see, I run the VRC 1000 course, so I sort of created this quick variant, sort of the VR. It's a subset of the VRC 1000 course. Just it has got uh, a set of core lessons, very simple, 12, just to get the basic thing started. And the most thing is these two things. There is a set of strategy drills. So every Tuesday and every Thursday. In Tuesday, you get 4 RCs to be done in 30 minutes, and you've got 8 VS to be done in 12 minutes on Thursday. This is going to happen. This is going to go until there are sort of 18 such drills each, 18 RC drills, 8 VR drills, and 12 full-length VRC sections test. Right. All the strategy drills and section tells is it's newly created, right? And for all of this, you have the video solutions, of my own written explanation, video solution, also analysis of each of these particular tests. I've used a sort of AI tool to help me also analyze this particular test. Okay, so So this is sort of the course. If let's say if you're somebody who is already doing something, want a good quality content that can aid you in your prep, right? In sort of in the last 100 days, you could think about this. That's a QR code. I think the detail that in the subscription. Okay. So the one thing, um, uh, detail in the description box by the subscription. Okay. One thing I want to say, I want to leave you like this. Sometimes no, ignoring a problem is also a solution. So this sort of might happen in a lot many cases when you say that your score is suddenly stuck at somewhere and you don't know why. And then the most many of the cases we said, I just want to find out the problem. I want to find out what the problem is. Sometimes ignore the problem. You stick to the process. You say, okay, I tried, I didn't find anything. What can I do? I'm just going to move on. I'm going to fight another day and keep moving on. Just sort of create this simple plan, sort of in the next 100 days. And yep, that ends my uh, thing that I want to share with you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this made sense, and I will catch you. This is sort of this is in this year. I think this is my first solo YouTube session. This is probably my sort of first. Hopefully, I can do more. Uh, the other one. So I'll sort of pick up some questions, sir. I end up wasting a lot of time on trying to attempt all RC questions. I want to leave a few to attempt more, but how to implement that? So I don't know. I think that you don't have to force yourself to attempt all RC questions. You're basically telling yourself that I'm trying to give myself a chance. The more I attempt, the more chance that I have. That does not mean that I necessarily have to attempt. The simple thing that you want to do is keep it very, very simple. No, you see a question on the screen. You read the question, you read at your pace, you went to the particular question. Two things will happen: either you're confused, not confused. If you're not confused, marked. If you're confused, two choices. Okay, let me resolve the confusion. You tried resolving the confusion resolved, marked. Confusion not resolved, decide, skip or take a bet, and then you keep moving on. I think that should be the sort of outcome that you had to do and nothing else. Sir, is VRC 1000 Sprint different from that regular? Yes, it is. VRC 1000 has got all the stuff. It is too big, too vast. There are too many stuff in that. VRC 1000 Sprint has got this very strategy drill and section test, so small subset. If you take VRC 1000, you still get everything. Okay, this is a subset of it. Okay. Sir, can't attempt more than 12 questions. If I do, my accuracy fails. Zara, let it fail, na. If you're basically attempting 12 questions, no, it clearly tells me that you're reading sentences twice. You are, the problem with attempting 12 questions. You have decided you're going to attempt 12 questions. Now what you want to do is that you want every single of the 12 questions correct. So unknowingly what you're actually doing is that you are spending extra time on each of these questions. You let go. No, you take a test and say that I'll solve as many as I can. If it turns out to be 12, it turns out to be 12. If it turns out to be 14, it turns out to be 14. But I don't have a plan. So for that to work, like I told you, you make sensible decision on each of these questions and start moving forward, and this should work. Sir, getting 30 plus mark in mocks, but when I gave it in a real cat like scenario, it became 15 to 20. I'm not able to understand. Yeah, this happened. Some shuvra. So this basically recently career launches mock happened on an actual test venue. The score dropped for all the people who took the test on the venue. This even happens in the cat, right? In the real cat. It happens not just for you, it happens for everybody. It happened in the cat. The thing is that the cat paper is not that difficult. So the test score drops, compensate the high difficult mock paper that you take at the comfort of the home. I don't know, I'm making sense. So what you actually want to do is that why don't you create such environment in the future? Write the mock test in places that you're not comfortable with, and you sort of get used to it. I think that's all the problem is. Sir, if you have to give a single advice for sentence placement question, what would be? My single advice sentence placement is elimination. Right? Don't select a place for it to go, but try and check out which is the place that it can't go. That will be my single place. Try to, instead of completing the paragraph, try and place the sentence. So you're looking at that. So that'll be advice. All right. Thank you so much. I will hope that I'll come and take more sessions in the future as well. Goodbye and all the very best.